I'm feeling alive.
Why was that? Why are you feeling alive?
Because we're doing new things in our business.
Doing new things in our business. Like what? Give everyone a snapshot.
Writing a book.
Writing a book.
We're launching new resources.
Launching new resources.
Yeah. And making the HotSpark show happen, which I honestly think is good for us to continue to practice our outside voices.
Because we have our inside voices most of the time?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to compare it to like, always in the grind, always in the office, and then getting out among the people, I think this is like a good way to make sure that we have balance in work and in what you would call in your show play. This is almost like a version of play, right?
This is a version of play.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
Like in what she's referring to is the Spark Show on Monday.
Yeah.
I talked about reintroducing play as part of your goal pursuits, because goals can become a grind. And they have for us, like we would both agree, if you said, guys, how's it going? Like, well, we have fun with each other and hanging out, but like, it's a slog, And so I was talking about play. And one of the things I said was making sure the tasks you're doing have elements of creativity and fun. And I think for us both, speaking to this mic, talking to y'all, is fun. And it's a creative approach to the fact that we have to create content. We have to hone our message. We have to create LOC, lines of communication with clients. And so I think this checks a lot of boxes.
It does. We both like hearing ourselves speak. Let's just get to the bottom of what this really is. And I think we're always teaming with new ideas. And a lot of that stuff comes out during talking. I think that's why therapy works, right? They just get you talking. And then all of a sudden you're saying things that have been on your mind. And so I think it works a lot in the same way. We want to communicate with people, but we also want to hear ourselves speak and kind of get more of our ideas out into the world that may have just we've talked about, but now let's get it out to everyone else.
And we've seen that a lot of the business owners and companies that are taking marketing seriously have come to us because they've seen either the Grand Spark Show or the HotSpark Show, or they've seen us do public speaking, or Nicole's done a lunch and learn, and they're like, you guys look really comfortable. And how do we get comfortable? Because I'm not comfortable with reels or content. And it's like, well, the Spark Show's had 365 episodes, let alone all the content I did even back in the day.
That's a really good connection you just made, though. I think us showing up on camera confidently is setting the tone for them, realizing that maybe they don't show up confidently and that we know how to do that. So that has really let us down. I mean, you've always wanted to have a coaching and training company in a lot of ways you have, but us like saying stake in the ground, we're doing coaching and training and realizing that is what we do all the time anyway. We're either in front of a group training or people are coming to us, and it's not just social media. It's how do I actually get on camera and not feel like an idiot, or I don't know what to say on camera. And so us being on camera just paves the way for people to realize we're the people to come to for that.
They can do it too.
Yeah.
And what I have found, and I think, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but what I have seen, especially now, the marketing that connects, yes, it has to be witty. It has to be fun. It doesn't have to necessarily be extroverted like we are. It has to have some sort of personality. And a lot of small business owners are like, wringing their hands on how to do this. And at the same time, they're outsourcing it to other people. And the truth is that you just have to show up on camera. And I know that that's bad news for a lot of people that consider themselves introverts, but we were just talking to somebody about entertainment today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And we said, listen, entertainment is not necessarily extroverted humor. Entertainment. Oh, we were talking to Paola, Daily Vlog Mom. Shout out to Daily Vlog Mom. And sometimes entertainment, someone just wants to see you go about your day. Right. And she had one particular reel that did take off for her content. I got 4,400 views. And it was the one where it was like a minute summary of her day. It was literally a daily vlog. And she just showed her life.
Yeah.
And that one took off. That's a type of entertainment that people are really into. And we might do a lot of educational content, but you know what? It's all entertainment for the right audience.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
What's the pain we're talking about today? The reason we don't have a guest today, why don't we have a guest, and what are we talking about? What pain are we talking about?
Because people come to us, business owners come to us with problem, and a lot of times it's content and how they can show up on content, which, by the way, there's multiple ways to show up on content, and it doesn't have to be like us talking head. It can be B-roll of you, and that's a whole topic. But the pain point that we see coming up over and over again with small businesses is marketing foundations, and like what really needs to be in place for you to succeed online with your digital presence and to generate leads. And so a lot of business owners spend time in like this no man's land where they're like, I'm doing so many things, but it's not generating the leads I think that they should. Yeah. And a lot of times it just takes some tweaks that you may not even understand or know about. So you're just running yourself ragged, trying to figure it out. So we put together, Grant put together like a quick list of some of those foundational items that are going to be part of our book. But this is like a shorter version and more digestible version for people who just want to kind of get started quickly.
Well, this is our quick start guide.
Yeah.
And so we're writing a book, The No Bullshit Marketing Master Plan by HotSpark. Boom. And we're putting this together because this is a blind spot. This is the pain for all small business owners that we encounter. Every single one. When they come to us for a website, we have discovered they're not actually looking for a website. They're looking for marketing solutions. Or when they come to us for coaching for social media or social media management, what they're saying is I don't have the leads I need and I don't know what to do. And so the one pain you're talking about is that a lot of small business owners are either doing nothing or they're just throwing money at solutions that they're not learning. If they're a plumber, they spent their 10,000 hours to learn to become a plumber. They invested in their licensings to become a plumber. They invested in employees that have to do with plumbing. But when it comes to marketing, they think, I'll just outsource it. I tell business owners time and again, there's a certain dollar figure where you have to stop being that thing and start thinking of yourself as a marketer who happens to do that thing. You are no longer a plumber. You're a marketer who happens to sell plumbing. You have to shift gears because that's the beginning of your ability to delegate other parts of the business, because we could just keep scaling this word of mouth to a point. But at some point, you as the business owner.
I was going to say, it's really like just realizing you're a business owner at that point, which means you're going to be wearing all the hats, and most importantly, your marketing hat.
And I think you can delegate it once you understand it.
Yeah.
But too often business owners are throwing $1,000, $8,000 at marketing solutions, and I put that in air quotes, that they're really not getting any solutions for. And so that's the problem. But like, I think what's worse is that people that are marketers are selling so well these service companies that, I can take care of this. And they actually don't know how to get results except selling that they're getting results.
Right.
And we see this in influencers a lot, but like anyone's complaint about influencers is that they're famous for being famous, right? Like they haven't really done anything but been an influencer, and it's not a fair critique of the industry, but we see.
I think that's what they say about the Kardashians, not
literally
influencers.
Well, that was the early days.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is true of a lot of influencers or a lot of marketers. And when they come to us, and they're very skeptical because they've been burned at the tune of thousands of dollars a month for months, if not years.
Kind of the going, I wouldn't say joke within marketing. Is every new client, you have to win them over because they just got out of a bad relationship, and you're having to pay for that bad relationship, and you have to like woo them again and help them understand that you're the professional. But it takes a little while, and you do get it, but it is just a matter of like understanding the foundations yourself so that you can spot who is a good marketer and who's not, if they know these same foundational things that you know. Yeah. Right.
And so like with the website company, what we've begun doing with Spark Sites is when someone buys a website from us, we've just kind of done some of these things we're going to share with you. And we're going to start actually announcing it, because to me, it was some of the basics that every web person should do for you. But we realized that small business owners aren't even aware of these things.
Yeah.
And these are the foundations. And so we already deliver this service on the Spark Sites end, and sometimes with our consulting with HotSpark.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get a client in there, these are the things we check. So we saw this complaint in this question, in this gap so often that we incorporated it into our marketing book. In fact, we had the whole marketing book outlined, and then we realized we should put the quick start steps in there. And it's like, I think we should. And now we're like, wait, I think the quick start steps should actually be available to everyone, because like whether you're buying a website with us or not, you should have these things in place. And if you don't have them in place, any marketing you do in the future is going to be kind of broken.
Yeah.
Because it's the foundation.
So we're going to run through some of those things.
You want to?
Yeah. Like, let's name a couple that we feel like is obvious to set up as a new business owner and should be on your list. But as you said, when people come to us for a website, they don't even realize they're supposed to have a Google My Business profile. They don't even realize they need to have a domain and a Gmail that match. And so there's just like basics, but we can't take that for granted, because when you're new or you set it up haphazardly, then these are the things that keep coming up and haunting you, basically.
So there's like 11 things that we absolutely believe every business owner, like you might have your LLC, you might even have your business cards or whatever mess you're doing.
Yeah.
You might even be out providing business or providing service. But if you don't have these 11 things, I believe you're not really open for business yet.
Are we able to share our most recent case study that with the company that you and Amber absolutely love, but have decided not to start their social media? Or
Hestia?
Kind of.
We could talk about Hestia and AIM. Mold remediation. Both of these companies are like within the last week are two companies that we've been serving along these lines. And we can kind of cover that, that case study on how doing this actually brought clarity to their marketing and messaging.
Yeah, we can do that after if you want.
Yeah, we can. Let's run through at least at the highest level.
Yeah, let's do it.
What the 11. So we're going to give you the punch list. And in fact, in the show notes after this goes live, hold me accountable to this. I will just drop this list in. We won't go into detail here. If you have questions about it, drop your questions in the comments. We've got the chat open. Yeah. So if I go too quickly or Nicole goes too quickly, ask your question. We'll cover it. So why don't you cover the first item?
Man, I was excited to see this, but the first thing you want to do is build your Canva brand guide. And why do you think that is?
Why do I think you were excited?
Well, no. Why do you think that building the Canva brand guide is like the number one thing you should do?
Okay. So this is the first item. And the sequence of these is important. Like these 11 items are in a specific sequence.
Okay.
So I put this one first because quite often I'll see someone go, I want business cards. And I just say, I got to get out and sell it. And I go, okay, what's going to be the logo you put on there? What's your message? What font are you going to pick? Times New Romans, or Comic Sans.
I love how designers have font jokes.
Oh my God.
You and Amber will go off about the font
There's
jokes.
a whole Saturday Night Live skit about this with Ryan Gosling.
No,
That's
I've always,
hilarious.
Oh my God, I got to see it. Because I've always noticed this. I've worked with tons of graphic designers, which I love, but they definitely have their own inside jokes about fonts.
Well, and so in this case, the Canva brand guide sets you up because it's for several reasons. Number one, you have to go through the steps of picking your colors. You got to go through the steps of picking not only your square icon. Everyone does the square icon, but like for websites, we need a horizontal icon too. And everyone's gets bent out of shape. My logo was like this. A rule of thumb for logos is there's no such thing as a corporate logo anymore. What are you talking about, Grant? So everyone goes immediately to which company do they think of when I say there's two companies they think of. One is
Nike.
That's the first one. What's the second one?
Coke.
Apple.
Okay.
And they think of these two and they go, no, they have a logo. And the answer is no, they don't. Quit kicking that thing.
Right.
They don't have a logo. And the reason is this. You might know the swoosh or but if you think about it, Nike to the side, or it says just do it off to the side. This is known as a brand imprint. And it has a variety of uses depending on the material it's on. So like a logo needs a horizontal version for websites. It needs an icon version for the little tabs on your browser, or the profile image needs to be square and round, but you might need a vertical one for other reasons, for banners at expos. So Canva, the Canva brand guide forces you to sort all this stuff out ahead of time. And then you never have to decide again about your logos. You never have to design again or decide again for your fonts. And then you can use that brand guide. The cool thing is in Canva, when you think I need a Facebook graphic, you open up the Facebook graphic and the brand guide's right there. So your designs look integrated all the time.
Right.
But if you hire a web designer Or if you hire a print designer, you can just give them the guidance done, and it sets the tone for everything else.
It does, because the next thing you need to do is buy your website domain name, because you can't, we've had people come to us and be like, I love this, and this is going to be my company name. And I'm like, awesome. Have you done your online research? Are there other companies with that name? Is that domain already taken? And you'd have to have some weird .net or something in order for it to exist.
Some weird .net.
I had to do .co, and it was like the biggest annoyance in the world. No, it was .org, and it was so annoying. And I lived with that for multiple years with my social media marketing company. So anyways, you may have decided on a name, but you don't actually know if their social media handles or if this domain is available to you. And so you've got to do that next. You got to figure that out next. Yeah.
Some quick shots. We won't go in deep here. Get a .com no matter what. And like the website company is called Spark Sites, but that wasn't available. All domains feel like they're taken. So there's several domain types. There's your name. So like my name type. Then there's a marketing phrase. So for example, with Spark Sites, we bought sparkmysite.com. You got to get a little creative. With Influencer Academy, we did Influencer Academy Official. Or the Influencer Academy.
Yeah, just adding at the beginning helped us secure that. So you got to be a little bit flexible, but also, that's why I think like companies pick weird names like Canva. You never heard of the word Canva or Google because they knew that those domains would be available. No one had ever used it before.
So buying the domain name, go to GoDaddy, and it's like, well, GoDaddy stinks. It stinks for a lot of things. Don't buy anything else from them, but buy the domain because it's still the most stable domain company out there. There's a lot of domain companies like HostGator or Bluehost, and your domain will be Network Solutions, where your domain's going to be stuck in domain limbo, and it's not very useful. Go to GoDaddy. And then that leads us to, we did that second because of the next one. Tell us about the next one.
Yeah, if you're going to be working out of Gmail and not Microsoft, which most small business owners do because it's affordable, you've got to get your workspace email. And if you have your domain, then you can have a professional email. And so ours is HotSpark Media. .io, right? And so you want those two to match, and then you don't want it to be like hotspark@gmail.com. You want your domain and your email to match. It's way more professional. And so obviously you need to get the domains first to do that.
And I would say for nearly 95% of all businesses, go with Google Workspace. There's several big reasons for this. The next thing we're going to talk about is your Google business listing. If you have a Microsoft email, you can't set it up.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
You have to have a Gmail or a Google email to set these things up. And so at least historically, maybe that's changed recently. So I could stand corrected.
No, I think you're right.
And on top of that, the spam filters for Microsoft 365 are obnoxious. You will not be receiving emails, and people will be freaking out. And then one last thing about a domain name as it pertains to email is sometimes there's this idea of like, let me go find my name.club or .life, which is 4 letters, CLUB or LIFE. Or if you're a school, they'll pick, we have
.edu.
Well, .edu is fine, but sometimes they actually will pick .school.
Oh.
Here's the thing. Let's say you want to set up a service like Zapier or Buffer or Trello or some project management software, and you enter in your email. If you have something more than 3 letters on that instead of .com or .edu, if you have .club, it won't accept it.
Well, then why even offer that?
Sometimes people want something kitsch and personalized, but I can't tell you, we had a major local school have to change their entire email infrastructure because they could not set up a project management software because it didn't accept anything longer than 3 letters.
Right.
So just be careful, like stick with the .coms and you'll be good. So tell us about Google business listings.
Oh, this is my favorite.
This is your favorite?
It's my favorite.
Nerd alert. Why is this your favorite?
Google My Business, because I always felt like it was the shining star with small businesses. Like when I explained how the benefits of it and how easy it is to set up, it always just made like such a difference in their business. And I also preach that you need to treat it like any other social media platform. Even though it's not technically social media, you should be updating it every single week because it does help with searchability, and Google rewards those who feed the monster. So you want to make sure that you're posting events, photos, and any new articles. I load it up. Anything that goes on my social media, and I might do it like once a week, just do like a big batch of photos or something. But I also like putting events there because people search Google for events, even though obviously we're finding people are searching social media more than they're searching Google, but there's still a place for it. And so Google My Business is super important. And that's how the map, like Google Map, I don't know if it's Google Maps. Indexes your business, especially if you're a brick and mortar. So, I mean, it's just unbelievable the amount of benefits, and so many businesses just miss out on this, especially in the beginning when it's crucial to be getting momentum.
Yeah, and this is starting to be included more and more often in our website builds because clients like, help me rank on Google, and they want to do all the fancy stuff because they're getting cold calls from spammers all day long, every week, that says your SEO stinks. Just pay me a small fee of $2,500 a month, and we'll get your SEO going. Meanwhile, they don't even have a Google Business listing. Google Business actually ranks better for you than your actual website. We could dive into that some other day. It's a big statement.
We want to wrap up at hard stop at 12:30.
Yes, ma'am. So let me cover Google Voice real quick. So far we've built your Canva brand guide because that sets up all of your design. Then you bought your domain because then that's a good moment to do that, because then you need that domain to set up your Google Workspace email. You need that email to set up your Google Business listing. And now you're ready to set up your Google Voice. And I really recommend Google Voice. A lot of people will pay for something like Grasshopper. These are phone numbers that are 800 numbers that will forward to people's phones, but you get it with Google Workspace. It's already included.
See, that I didn't know.
It's included.
That's cool.
And so you get a phone number, you set up the phone number, and you can set up hours, voicemails, text messages. You set it up. We won't spend a lot of time on this, but instead of spending another 15, 20, Grasshopper, I think sometimes cost us $40 a month, and it's included in Google Workspace. And that way you can turn your hours off so that when you're at home, unless you want to take those phone calls all day long, when some people do in the early days, you want to hustle and you want to take every phone call. But if you're getting busy and you need to check out, you can turn it off so it's not forwarding to your phone during certain business hours. Check out Google Voice. And then that leads us to a part of Google Calendar. What do you got?
Set up your Google appointment booking calendar. So you see there's a lot of services like Acuity or even Calendly that, that are outside, resources to do this, but you actually can do it right into Google and save. Even if it's $10 a month, it's still a savings to a business owner. So utilize the Google appointment booking calendar. It's a link. You can send people to have access to your calendar and book a time slot, which you would set up beforehand so that if you want it to be 15 minutes and you want to have a buffer in between, like all of that can be done, and it can save you money.
And the cool fact about that is we're all used to Calendly, and it does like a ton of what Calendly does, not everything, but it's good enough to get up and running from a marketing perspective. And if you are a coach and you want to put a price tag on your time, it has a Stripe integration, which is kind of fun. We don't use that. I used it briefly. We don't really use that, but here's the thing. You fill your calendar up all the time anyway, and then you set out like you said, the time slots. It's automatically booking it or blocking it off all in one place. And you don't have to jump around. It's handled right through Google Calendar. So you save some money. It's efficient. You'll probably want to graduate to Calendly later. I mean, because it does have limited use, but I really recommend. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Launch the first version of your website. I could spend an hour on this.
Yep. I'm
going to spend 2 minutes on it. Set up on WordPress. Set up on Flywheel hosting at getflywheel.com. This is literally our playbook. Do a one-page website. Hear me on this. Just set up a one-page website because in the early days, your SEO is going to come from that Google Business listing. You have your logo, because you got the Canva brand guide, load it up there. Don't get fancy. Do not spend. If you spend more than 2 to 4 hours trying to figure out what to say on your website, call a web designer because you're stuck and you don't know what to say. Otherwise, most people can put the basics on their page. You're going to do a hero header, which is going to show a photo of you, what you do.
You're getting in the weeds.
Oh, she's right. I'm getting in the weeds. But 3 sections.
That was fun.
Call to actions, my services in a contact form, and you're done.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
My first one was not pretty. It was not, but it was up and people could find me. So
minimum.
I think you have to be okay, just like with content creation, with it not being perfect.
And you'll upgrade it in 2 to 3 months as you're up and running, but you'll usually use your Google business listing. Yeah. So tell us about your Instagram business profile.
You guys, I'm going to merge these two because you got to treat Instagram and Facebook as one, because it's all under Meta, and it's all under Meta Business Suite. And we know that Facebook cross posts to Instagram. And if you set it up correctly, you can work from Meta Business Suite and personalize each post if you really want to, or you can send the exact same post to Instagram and Facebook, which in the beginning, a lot of business owners want to do that for just sanity's sake and streamlining their system and processes. But you have to, one, get your handle and make sure that it matches your brand name and your business name as much as possible. And that's definitely something you want to consider when you're looking for a domain, is like, is this available on social media? So, but you've got to get your hands on that profile and make sure that you set it up completely, from your business address to your phone number, and then a link to book, right? Or some type of call to action, your website. And just so we want you to craft both of those pages and completely fill them out, get some images on there, and then, secure that so nobody else can take it or post to it without your, or talk about your business without you knowing about it. Yeah.
I would just throw in here, this was number 8 and 9 that we combined. But we have to do these. And the thing I think you should do first, right now, we are untangling a whole cluster of different entities and their business manager from the ads manager. It's chaos. Yeah. Do this right the first time. Set up your Facebook business page first. Jump over to Instagram and set up your Instagram handle. Change it from a standard profile to a business profile, and then connect the two.
Yeah.
Connect them ASAP. Right now, we're trying to connect entities. It's getting crazy. But if you connect those, you are now set up for the last item, which I'll cover. I'll let you cover LinkedIn.
Okay.
But once you do those things all at once, you're going to have a real good start, because later down the road, when you try to do Facebook ads, it's going to be a nightmare if you don't do this part right.
Yeah.
So if you get stuck, please reach out with questions. We got to chat here real quick. Donald Burns says, hey guys.
Yeah. And Don's like the king of Facebook and Instagram pages. So I can't even imagine what his Meta Business Suite looks like. He's got so many pages that he's managing and probably cross-posting content, I think, to all of them. Yeah. But the next one, you guys, is if you're a business, it doesn't matter if you're a brick and mortar restaurant or you're a boutique, you should have a LinkedIn corporate it says corporate profile, but business profile, because you want to be seen as a person of authority in your space and in your industry. And the best way to talk shop with other business owners and to be seen is on LinkedIn. So don't sleep on LinkedIn. It's a really great resources. And if you're thinking, well, I'm just a retail account, the more you can build an online authority and digital presence, the better. And a lot of people fact check people on LinkedIn to make sure they really exist. Don said, haha, I did not tune in for
a comedy.
Well, we're always comedy, Don.
Yeah, it's all comedy.
It's all comedy. You can't take us too seriously. And then, running your first Facebook ad.
Real quick, for LinkedIn Corporate, don't leave the default gray icon.
Oh, yeah.
Actually build out the page.
Yeah.
You look like a joker and your business doesn't look real. Upload the logo from your Canva brand guide and a banner, and now you look legit, and it'll populate when people, and it's backlinks when people search you. So
that's such a good point. So many people leave out the image and it just looks bad. So
for the sake of time, I'm going to tell you this. We could get into the weeds on Facebook ads. Call me out if I do. Check out SKOOL School Ads Lab. Pay $25 a month. It is the best $25 you will ever spend on setting up ads. I will simply say this one thing without getting to the weeds, high-level principles. Your first ad campaign in Facebook Ads Manager, Don, the king was funny, okay? In your Facebook Ads Manager, you're going to do one ad campaign. It's going to have a handful of ad graphics. They all have the same text. They have a single budget, and you're just going to be discovering your audience. There's good reasons for this because as you discover an audience, you'll begin targeting that audience in future. We'll talk about that in fact, we even have a few tutorials that will end up in our HotSpark library called running your first Facebook ad. And I need to dust that off and make it available to you. And when we put the quick start guide together, we will get into the weeds on this.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. But run your first Facebook ad, hopefully from the Facebook Ads Manager, because if you get used to just using the ads function right from the Facebook page, you're not going to be taking full advantage and setting yourself up for success in the future.
Yeah, there's less features on the mobile version.
It's simpler, but it actually uses a different algorithm.
Eesh.
Yeah. Use the Facebook Ads Manager. Don't get crazy. Put an ad out there. Run it for half a day and learn something. Yeah. Run your first ad. Your second ad, run longer. But
I always had like the 24-hour rule of thumb. I thought
people get freaked out, and especially because your first budget should be a hefty budget.
That's right.
But you don't want to spend the whole budget. So you're like, when you do your first ad, I recommend setting the budget to $100, but ending it in the middle of the day, because when you end it in the middle of the day, you only spend about $50 and you learn something.
Yeah.
But again, we could spend a whole tutorial.
Facebook ads gets you worked up.
Gets me worked up. We can spend a whole tutorial on that alone too. But those are the top 11 things. Let's recap them. Number 1,
build your Canva guide.
Number 2, buy your website domain.
Get your workspace email from Google.
Set up your Google business listing.
And your Google Voice.
Set up your Google business or appointment booking calendar.
Launch your first version of your one-page website. Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it. Number 8, craft your Instagram business profile.
Build out your Facebook business page.
Number 10, do your LinkedIn corporate profile.
With the image.
And
then run your first Facebook ad.
These basics you could probably run on for several weeks. You could run ads.
Yeah.
And you look legitimate. And you got your SEO going, you're set up and you're ready to rock. And now you can go hand out business cards.
Yeah, make some money.
And then from there, you just compound skills. You get better and better. You get into the weeds, as we'll do in some follow-up courses and ebooks and stuff. But if you do not have these and you get the cart before the horse, this is going to turn into a whole cluster mess in the future. So that's what we recommend. Any parting words for them getting their marketing up and running?
No, it feels like a lot, but I think if you actually take the time on each step, that it will make sense in your head, like you're doing things in sequential order. And I honestly just wish something like this existed when I was first starting out, because I skipped and I just didn't know. And I paid for it later, especially with like Facebook and Instagram and the whole, like, it just gets messy really fast. If you set it up right the first time, it's so much easier. What about you?
No, that is my parting word. Start here. And if you find yourself that you're trying to ramp up your marketing, you're doing more ad spend, you're not getting where you want, you don't know what you're doing, go back to this list and ask yourself, is this list up and running? And is it up and running right? Am I using these to their fullest capacity? Then I scale. If you're still doing all that and you need some help, of course, we at HotSpark want to help you. So reach out to us at hotsparkmedia.io.
Yep.
Otherwise, check in next week
for another episode of the HotSpark Show.
HotSpark Show. Boom. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great